a very good afternoon, and thank you, Usha, for the introduction and the warm welcome. Um, One thing she really missed in my introduction was I'm doing a part-time PhD, not boasting anything. It's just to let you know the following slides would be an amalgamation of my experience in IT, the literature review I've done on this topic, which is also my thesis topic, and the secondary research, related to my PhD. So, Sejuti, a month back, she told me that, would you be interested to give this speech, etc. I said, sure, why not? And I asked for the agenda. And when I looked at the agenda, it was a 30-minute talk on the second day of the event, and that too post-lunch. So it would be very difficult to keep you guys up, but let's try. So I thought let's start with a small little quiz. A very simple one. So, okay. So which of these countries, it has the lowest digital penetration? Any guesses from the audience? Brazil, okay. So South Korea, okay. India. So India has around 48% digital penetration. Ireland, 99%. Ireland, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Norway. These are the 4 countries which have the highest digital penetration, which is 99%, right? So we have a long way to go, but I think we are getting there. Next question, which company created the first mobile phone globally? Apple, Nokia, Genix, Motorola? Motorola, okay. Any other guess? Genix. So it's Motorola. But the good question is, when was it created? 1960, 1991, 1944, 1983. 60, okay. 91. It was created around 50 years back, 1983. Now the first handset, the first cellular phone which Motorola created, it was called Moto Dynac 8000X. It was 1 kg phone. It would weigh 1 kilograms. And people would still carry it because it was useful, it was a piece of luxury. So business tycoons would still carry it in their bags, in their pockets. Number of IoT devices we are expecting this year. The cumulative number of IoT devices which we would have by end of the year. 30 billion, okay. Okay, it's actually 41 billion. Now, why this question is interesting is because what is the population we have? What is the kind of population globally we have? It's 8 billion, right? So 41 billion IoT devices and 8 billion of us. So can you imagine? All of us, each one of us would be surrounded by at least 5 IoT devices. That could include our phones, it could include the sensors on our refrigerators, on the TVs, on our bags, on our children bags, right? So that is the kind of, association we would have with digital and IoT going forward. Percentage contribution of technology in Dhoni's helicopter shot. 10%. Let's not overdo it, guys. There was nothing there. So let's give the due credit to Dhoni. It was all his effort. All right. So glad we are up now. So digital transformation projects. So what is digital transformation, right? So, I mean, most of you would have worked on digital transformation projects for your organizations or would have assisted other organizations with these projects. So anyone from the audience, what is digital transformation for you all? Sejuti told me she would give somebody a prize for class participation. So anyone up? Not really, okay. So digital transformation, now this is what we have. Lead management system and footfall tracking devices to be installed in 500 plus EBOs, exclusive business outlets. Omni-channel initiatives, launch of omni-channel initiatives, which would include click and collect, endless aisle. Now, let me tell you, all these points which are being displayed here, they are picked right from my CV. Why I'm telling you this, I'll come to that later. Largest SAP commerce implementation for oil and gas company, supply chain digital transformation project, AI-driven insights, right? And contract management software. Okay, so these are handpicked from my CV, and the reason I'm telling you this is because in my experience, whenever a company tells me, they want to launch a digital transformation project, no two companies have the same definition of a DT project. No two companies would understand digital transformation in the similar way. So when they said, my digital transformation today is AI-driven insights, launching of AI-driven engagement to give me insights, or they say, my digital transformation, we want to go digital, right? So digital transformation for me is launching contract management software. But this is what it is. Digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Now here comes my thesis work. What is digitization? Digitization is essentially using your analog information in a digital way, right? Converting analog to digital is digitization, simple. What is digitalization? You use IT to, change your business processes, right? You use digital initiatives to change your business processes, but what is digital transformation? It is when you do a large-scale transformation project for your organization, which changes the business models, which changes the customer efficiencies, which changes your operations. So it's not just, small initiative which would change one process for one division, for one function. It's more multidisciplinary, right? We are changing the mentality from survive and thrive to evolve or die. Now is not the time to, decide whether you want to go the digital transformation route. People are already there. You just have to understand where in the digital maturity curve does your organization lie, right? And digital transformation for me is what you want to be now, what you currently are. So you are, say, at a certain point in the curve, but where you want to go 18 months down the line, that journey from now to 18 months, what are the initiatives you are taking to reach that point after 18 months? That entire journey is the digital transformation journey for organizations, right? Discovering digital, understanding digital, and standing digital. Discovering digital is, like I said, digitization. You start implementing digital technologies in your organization. Understanding digital, that would mean you start extending capabilities. You use those digital technologies to extend capabilities. And standing digital is you launch more processes, you launch more business processes using digital. So this is amalgamation of my understanding from my research on organizations and also from literature, supported by literature. This is all literature, won't bore you, but just wanted to highlight some key things here. It's multidisciplinary. It is the digital technologies organization use for their transformation journey. Business operations. Integrating digital to the cultural DNA of an organization, very important, right? Because we don't know how ready an organization or the employees of the organization are. How do we imbibe this digital into the cultural DNA of the organization, right? And end-to-end digitization of projects. Like I said, it's not just pertaining to finance, marketing, it has to be end-to-end, right? We'll also talk about examples where it was not multidisciplinary and why it failed. Is it a strategy? Is it a process? Is it a business model? Is it a paradigm shift? No correct answer, It depends on the organization, whether they take this as a strategy or whether they take it as a process. For me, digital transformation is about three things, right? The journey is essentially about three things. One, what are the factors which drive the digital transformation, which trigger the digital transformation journey? What exactly triggers it? Why would an organization just simply embark on this journey? Second, the digital readiness in an organization, right? Even if they've started, but are the employees, is the organization, is the leadership really ready to take it up? But it does not really end there, right? You have launched the initiative, you have launched the program. How about adoption? Are the people using it? You have launched it, but there's nobody using it. It's there in one of the, good case studies. But are people using it? Are you seeing the benefit from it? It ends there. So once how it starts and it ends with, are the people using it? Are they benefiting from it? Factors, digital readiness, and adoption. So quickly, I'll be talking about these three topics. Factors triggering. So what triggers? Now, come on, this I would expect some answers from the audience. What triggers digital transformation journey? Savings, okay. If you have some savings, if you have a budget for it. Customer satisfaction. Sorry? Cost, savings cost. Speed, okay. Sorry? Organizations? Okay, that was outlook, how the leadership is perceiving it to be. Perfect. Changing consumer behavior, right? So when we saw in COVID, right, the increased adoption of e-commerce changed the consumer behavior, forced a lot of organizations to embark on this journey. Direction from leadership. Now, direction from leadership are very interesting and a very debatable topic, to be honest. So we need, sometimes, organizations start this journey because there's a new leader which has come up who has come up in the organization. And his vision is, I used to do this in my previous organization, let's try it here as well. That is one. Second, getting right leaders at the right time, and also somebody told me, when I was doing a research, intelligent diversification. We are talking about diversification, inclusion, but intelligent diversification, right? We need right people in the right function at the right time. Another point would be, so a lot of organizations also have innovation cells, right? So they have innovation cells which keep researching on what is happening outside their organizations, across industries, across markets. They tell us about initiatives, and then we, kind of evaluate whether it's beneficial for us or not. Competition, or two ways to look at it. Competition, is the competition doing it? Should I be taking it up as well? That is one. And second, digital transformation itself has brought in competition in a lot of sectors, right? We'll talk about it, right? So we'll discuss how. COVID-19, we'll again discuss a little more on this. Government regulations. So we have a lot of government regulations, especially, in more regulated industries like oil and gas, life sciences. So we have some regulations coming in from government, and we really need to pick that up to embark on the journey. Competition. So a lot of times, like, platform-based models have come up, right? So for example, Airbnb. Who would have thought an Airbnb would be competing with Radisson Blu's, their portal of sales? So that is what digital transformation does. It gives you opportunities where an unknown entrant would come into the industry and would, fight for the market share. Digital natives. A very good example here would be example of Wagh Bakri, right? So when Wagh Bakri, around I think 4 years back, 3-4 years back, they did a project launching digital transformation for Wagh Bakri. Now why they did that was because we had likes of Chaayos, Chai Point, who were born digital, right? They are digitally native organizations. And Wagh Bakri said, I don't want to lose market share to them, so what is it that I can do to, compete? So digital native organizations competing with the more traditional, more embarked organizations who have already established themselves. Market share, food delivery apps, right? Ride sharing apps, content delivery apps. So we are fighting for market share and very close, right? So digital transformation, if one company would do it, the competition would definitely look to embark on it, and just to ensure, they're not losing their customers to the competition. COVID-19, how did it trigger digital? Now, somebody I spoke to, she told me COVID-19 didn't really trigger the digital transformation for them, but what it did was even more important. It essentially, it increased the space of the digital transformation. So something which was expected to be delivered, say, in another 24 months, got delivered in 3-4 months. Because that was the kind of emphasis COVID-19 had, and that was the kind of situation we were all in, that we didn't have time to evaluate whether we need the digital transformation or not. We really needed to understand when do we need it, when do we, start. Okay, next, digital readiness of organizations. What is being digitally ready, right? For me, it is, and from literature, I see it as two things: digital skills. That is, are you digitally equipped? Do you have the technology? Do you have the capability? And second, trust. Whether you believe that this implementation of this technology, launching this initiative would benefit you and your organization. So, combination of digital skills and trust is what really makes, makes an organization ready for digital initiatives. Be disruption ready, have a positive outlook towards change. Something which I didn't tell right earlier was that, people really need to accept that it's not going to be easy. Digital transformation may not be easy. There'll be a lot of hiccups. There'll be a lot of changes. So please accept that there'll be changes. Have a positive outlook towards change. Be ready to share information, right? So there'll be seamless information across departments. Take ownership of things, right? And organization structure. So a lot of times in digital transformation, results in restructuring of organizations. So one should anticipate that this might happen, but it will happen for good. Factors needed to promote digital readiness: key involvement from internal stakeholders, right? So we need stakeholders, internal stakeholders to be involved. And one learning which I got from my research was they needed to be involved right from the beginning. So it should not be that, you've launched the initiative and just 2 weeks before the rollout, you're letting them know this is what's going to happen. No, they have to be on board right from the beginning, right from the word evaluation. Constant support. So we need constant support from all the stakeholders, from all the parties involved, be it our vendors, be it our partners, be it our leadership, be it the people on the ground. So this is needed. Right communication through right channels at the right time. We can have any number of cafe briefings and that number will never be less. So we should not plan, we can have one cafe briefing here. We may need any number because the employees will have questions, right? And we are bound to answer them. Available skills and talent, which is important, and India, fortunately has abundance in it. Adoption of digital initiatives, which is my last segment in terms of digital transformation. Adoption, so like I said, it is two things: implementation of digital initiatives and employees starting to use those initiatives to benefit their processes. So a very small slide may not be able to, but this is a technical adaptation or a technology adaptation model, a very old model, right? But still useful for us. What it says is ease of use, right, and usefulness. So how easy the initiative is, how easy the employees would feel the initiative is to use. Does it really require a number of trainings? Is it very simple to install, simple to launch? And what is the usefulness? What will I get out of it, right? So, I start using it, but what is in it for me? How do you keep your employees motivated to use that? So I talk of two things. One, trainings. So if they're facing any technical challenge, trainings, a number of trainings. And if they're not motivated enough, there are two ways to look at it. Either you make it mandatory, कि नहीं करोगे तो organization से बाहर, or second, you provide incentives. कि कर लोगे तो ये मिलेगा. So either way, so it's a carrot and a stick approach. So all these things combined will change the attitude, will change the intent, and will lead to your adoption. For literature review things, one thing I just wanted to call out here was the last point, which is masculinity, which is not really, femininity, masculinity. It's more to do with aggressiveness. So the value of aggressiveness, research shows that the value of aggressiveness moderates readiness and adoption. So if one is aggressive, assertive, the adoption would be rather easy. Okay, just before I launch into my next segment, which is the last segment, one trivia question. What percentage of digital transformation stories fail? 30, 70, 50, 80? 50. Half of them fail. It's actually more than that. 70% of the digital transformation stories fail, right? So only 30% see the light of success. And why do they fail? Could be various reasons, yeah. It could be budget if they ran out of budget, the goals were set too high and they didn't really know, this is what they're going to achieve. The employees quit, the leadership quit, the organization went bankrupt. Anything could happen, right? So two stories I'm going to talk about and then I'll end my presentation. Failed digital transformation case studies. This is for Ford. So Ford, what they really did was, a few years back, they had launched a program called Smart Mobility, Ford Smart Mobility. So they had a list of initiatives they wanted to run for their electrical vehicles, for the ride-hailing apps, for the vehicle sharings, and for the self-driven. So they wanted to implement mobility smart features across sectors, across their functions. But what really happened was, and this is a failed project I'm talking about, right? So what really happened and what was the learning here, which is what we should be interested in, that the project was not really integrated to other functions. It was just one project. They had set up another entity, Ford Smart Mobility, which is still there, but that was not integrated to other functions. It did not consider the customer demands into the scope. Right? So that is when they realize that, right integration. So you cannot just say, one day that this is the project I'm going to launch and this is the day I'm going to launch, right? You have to really understand that which systems does it really need to talk to? What is the kind of benefit you're providing, not just to customers or to the leadership, it's for everybody, right? It's for everybody on board. Second, which is P&G, right? So such a big company, can it have a failed digital transformation project? Yes, it did. This was in 2012 when P&G decided they want to be the best digital company on the planet, right? And what happened, so they said that this is the digital transformation project which we are going to, do. And these are the timelines. They have put in a lot of money into it. They have the skills, of course. They have the experience, undoubtedly. But what failed? The failure was the return on investment was not right. So they launched the project, everything was working fine, but what they really achieved at the end of the project was not what they had aspired to. So the return was not in line with what they really wanted to achieve. So that is how this project failed. So, all of us would have gone through failures of projects, digital transformation projects. So, I mean, it's okay. 70% of us fail, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much from me. And I have still 8 minutes left.